Thanks so much, Dr. Das, for your beautiful talk on on equals vision on Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta. And today, uh, you have given importance to Muhammad Iqbal's concept of Khudi, self, which is the essence of everything. And you have reflected the individual self and the self in nature. And you have said that man can be understood from his selfhood, and man can make himself to such a greater height by his individual effort. And man can have the quality of responding and transforming from the lower self to the higher self. And uh, Muhammad Iqbal's concept of Khudi is reflected in it. And when you say that Iqbal has given importance to selfhood, he has said that man is the maker of his own destiny, and human existence is given important position that is in Iqbal's philosophy, and the selfhood is reflected as Khudi that he has said. And he have said so many things that one can to develop himself. And Equals philosophy has given importance to respect to self. And you can say that you have said also that how Equals has given importance to the divinity of human being. And when man is moving towards the perfection, when man is moving to perfection, his personal effort is very, very important. So that his personal effort brings the self-actualization, and the individual self is lost, that is in the ultimate self. So the concept of self or the concept of Buddhi is very clearly analyzed in Eco's philosophy. So thanks so much for your reflection, philosophical reflection on Equal's philosophy and Equal's concept of Buddhi and self, and how that is it can be transformed to the that is ultimate self, where the lower self can be transformed to the higher self. Thanks so much. Now I would like to request Professor Dr. K. now to carry on the interactive session. Over to Dr. Ram.
Yes, namaskar everybody. I thank Dr. Das for a very good lecture, and also Dr. Maharana for a brief summarization of the talk of Dr. Das. To start with, let us move to Roma Vani Madam, because she belongs to that region where the idea of Muhammad Iqbal is discussed and also practiced, and Roma Madam has that insight, that reflection to speak on, to put forth her ideas on Muhammad Iqbal. And so let us move to Roma Madam for her thoughts, for the suggestions, and for her
Yes.
queries. Over to Roma Madam.
No,
Namaskar.
thank
Namaskar.
you. Thank you, Dr. Sam. To me, I feel like I have been in the mode of listening and understanding the philosophy of Sir Dr. Muhammad Iqbal. Uh, and now, more so, since Dr. Das did his speech at the Kashmir University. Of course, as children, when we sang Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara, we were not conscious how great the lyricist was. But the lyrics itself brought to our development an aura of hum bulbule hain iske, you know, and ye gulista hamara. So the whole country and each and every individual existing in the country became a part of the family, the the human family, you know. And it was years later when one grew up and began to understand and study Dr. Iqbal that one understood there is more to life, there is more to development, there is more to awareness than has been written by so many. Dr. Iqbal himself was very strict and a follower of science, maybe to the point that, you know, when his personal health led him to a darwish, and in that moment he realized the miracle of his spiritual understanding, and he knew that more than science is the Mard Momin, you know, the man who could, with just a look at him, change his understanding of existence. I may be wrong. I mean, but this I'm speaking, as you all know, I only speak from my personal understanding, which is very, very minimal and maybe sometimes very immature, but it's true to my heart. And then the world recognized him. And when the world recognized him, yet he was his humble self, his poetry. You know, he rose to realms of even complaining to Allah. You know, I mean, he questions even God. He says, why have you sent me here? You know, why have you sent me here? And then, after asking these questions and his understanding of it, then came his series of jawab. Then he found the answers. And earlier, when he did the shikayat and the world said, he's being harsh. But when he gave the jawab, the shikwa shikayat's over, he gave the jawab. And then one understood. I mean, it's really not easy to understand, Iqbal. I personally think every time I read Dr. Iqbal, I always find a new understanding, a new beginning. And then look at the man. I mean, he's beyond religions. He recognizes Sri Ram. And he says, you know, if there is a spiritual being, a leader for the country, I mean, he sees those qualities and he expresses them in Sri Ram. So, see the realms he has crossed, you know. Dr. Dash spoke about the three realms that we all go through: faith, wisdom, and action. Huh? And I think Dr. Iqbal was much beyond all this. Actually, I feel tongue tied to even be talking about such great personalities. I mean, when we read Plato or Socrates, they are only like imaginary, but Dr. Iqbal is even now alive, you know. I mean, one feels him very close. Uh, I think I should not say more, but thank you, Dr. Das, because you know, you're coming here and um, you have re-enlightened in me to be reading and again and again understanding the realms that Dr. Iqbal is asking us to cross. And okay, I'll also tell you something. When you recited this Khudi ko kar tu itna buland. When I first heard it many years ago, many years ago, maybe I was not so good in Urdu that time because I had studied Hindi and I was into Hindi, Marathi, and other languages. Uh, so when I heard that the first time, I thought it was Khud. Khud hi ko. You get the difference? Khud hi ko. I took it that way lightly. Oh, you make yourself. But as I understood, khudi, the self, not the person, not khudi, but khudi, the person, the personality. Uh, it's, as I said, just the pronunciation of that word can lead one to greater dimensions. And I can only ask that I be blessed to understand and find meaning to existence, find meaning to faith, to wisdom, and to action. Thank you so much for allowing me to express myself. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, madam, for your exposition on Dr. Iqbal's philosophy and the focus on Buddhi, Buddhi, which is not personal but a concept that, apart from self perfection, wanted to bring about self perfection in the world itself, a transformation in the world itself. So, this can be brought close to the ideal of bodhisattvahood that we can find in Buddhism. Because I could not, from your words, because Kudi, it is self perfection, but that is not disconnected with the community, as I could see from your words. So this can be maybe, I don't know, maybe connected with the idea of bodhisattvahood, where the Buddhist monks in the Mahayana fold, they tried for their own liberation or nibbana, not for their own self, but for a community as a whole. They were concerned about the fellow beings. So, in their liberation, the fellow beings were also taken care of, so that the entire community is liberated. So, that sort of sense I could find from your words in the philosophy of Dr. Iqbal.
Uh, Dr. Om, it's like khud he means you make yourself, khud hi, but khudi. Khudi is like Gairat, respect, love, for oneself, the higher self. Huh? And yes, when it comes to relating the higher selves in different religions, yes, um, I may also think that my whole community is myself and relate to the oneness of everything. Yes, could be. It depends on how we philosophize it. So thank you, Om sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Well, my conception, it matches your idea. The only thing is, self perfection without connecting to the community makes no sense. And that way, the lines that you recited, "Sare jahan se acha." Okay. So it was a message to perfection, because you see perfection, because from what Dr. Das said and what you said, uh, uh, there was a message for perfection in the self, and also the perfection in the nature. That means we cannot be dissociated from the idea of perfection in the community to which we belong. So that's how we get connected. That's how we are not, otherwise the self destiny or selfhood. Okay, okay, that part is okay, the transformation is okay, but if it is not brought into the community, to the society, it will turn some sort of what to say egoistic mode of understanding that becomes. So that's how the selfhood is not disconnected from the community. It is all in parallel running with the community. That is how I understand.
True, true, sir. True, sir. True.
Okay, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we have it with us Dr. Marazi. He is a man from that land, and he might have studied Dr. Iqbal because he belongs to the Department of Religious Studies, and Dr. Iqbal is a man which you could know that he is concerned about not about a particular religion. He's concerned was concerned about humanity as a whole, irrespective of religions. And Dr. Marazi is well known to us. He is working on the religious ideas and religious harmony, and so he belongs to the discipline of religious studies. So we'd like to invite Dr. Marazi to speak a few lines on Dr. Iqbal and his relevance to the relevance of his philosophy to the modern world. Dr. Marazi, please.
Thank you, Namaskar. Thank you, sir, for giving me chance. Although I was busy writing a book today, so I could not note the time, so I could not attend the whole program. But I could just attend the last few minutes. I could listen Mrs. Rumawani ji and some other people. So actually, we were very happy that Professor Das came to Kashmir and he delivered a very nice lecture on Iqbal and Bhagavad Gita and such other concepts relating to philosophy and religion. So it was a very good beginning, and that brought an area of philosophy department to be started in Kashmir University. So that was a good omen for us. So far as Iqbal's philosophy of self is concerned, he has talked about individual self as well as universal self as well. So starting from individual, going to the nation, then to the community, then to the God. So in this way, he has tried to encompass all the egos, from the super ego, from the human ego to the super ego, that is God, and finally he could relate these all egos in his philosophy of Khudi, as it has been said. But basically, this is realization and understanding one's own self, one's history, one's culture, and then at large humanity as a whole, and then thinking about आदमियत एहतराम आदमी बाखबर शव az maqami आदमी. Humanity is to respect other humans, and we should become aware about the place of humans in this world. So this is one of the couplet of Iqbal. So basically, he just wanted to make us to realize ourselves and realize others as well, and try to see what are our responsibilities towards other humans and towards society, and then in humanity at large. So this concept he has given throughout his poetry, and also in his reconstruction of religious thought in Islam, and the lectures he delivered at Hyderabad, in Madras, and Aligarh. So which are 7 lectures, which are known as 7 lectures of Iqbal as well. So in that he has tried to talk about religious experience, and also ego, and also selfhood. So in this way, if we want to understand Iqbal's philosophy, we have to understand also the background of different religions like Hinduism, like Buddhism, as you mentioned, Bodhisattva, and then Sufism also. And apart from that, Persian poetry, and then Sanskrit poetry, and he was well versed with all these genres. So in this way, Iqbal's viewpoint about Khudi or self was very comprehensive, and it was all encompassing. It has tried to accommodate all the religious denominations and all the people belonging to different parts of the world. And he has talked about an oriental dialogue where humans are more important than the material resources and other things. So with these words, I think that I could just try to encapsulate some of the views which are found in his concept of Khudi. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, Dr. Maraji, for your exposition on Dr. Iqbal's philosophy. Well, one thing that comes to my mind again. Well, Buddhi, as the concept goes, it is self-realization or self-perfection, or that we talk of, and that is given primacy. It is only through self-realization there can be a realization of the community, of the other, maybe the persons around or the nature as a whole, and finally elevating to the standards of the divine. So Kudi, from what Dr. Baraji talked of, it involves a sort of stages wherein we evolve from self-perfection, a realization of the own self, to the realization of the community, to the realization of the entire cosmos, bringing everything to one fold. So this is how we can see the elevation, the transformation, okay, in the thought and philosophy of Dr. Iqbal. So this is how I could get Dr. Marazi. Thank you, sir.
You're right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Well, we'll move to Dr. Das for his responses, and then we move to Dr. I.S. Kumbhar, sir. I.S. Kumbhar, sir, who is there in the webinar for the first time, I think, will have his views and his comments. So Dr. Das to comment on, then we'll move to Dr. Kumbhar.
I agree with Professor Maraji, Roma Madam, and you. Okay, so what I said about equal, that he is giving importance on human awareness. That means, and this is only human possibility. No other creatures are not aware of their own existence. So it is man who can be aware of his own. So this is an intuitive experience. This is not through any scripture or any teacher, etc. This is the intuitive experience of a man. So Khudi is that energy, that selfhood, that awareness to become something, to grow something. And once it starts, then naturally, gradually, the lower self will become the higher self. It will be concerned with the community, then with the nature, then it will ultimately become the universal self. So it is a gradual process, and this possibility is there in man, and therefore equal gives importance to human existence. Man is very much important in. I agree, and this same thing is told by all. Understanding is same. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Well, Dr. Maharaj, you want to say something? Yes, sir. Please. Want to say
Yeah,
something?
basically, what Professor Das has said, he is right. Iqbal had just grown from nationalistic feelings to the internationalism, in essence, universal approach to problems of humanity. And then he talked about the global perspective, about peace, about love. And then he said, "Mazhab nahi sikhata, aapas mein bair rakhna." And then he also talked about whole world is our world, because we belong to God, and whole world belongs to God. So now there we do remain, strangers in this world. So we become brothers. As I already mentioned, one of the personal couplet, "Admiyat ehtirame admi, bakhabar shav az maqami admi." Humanity is to respect other humans, and this is the stature of humans, and we need to know this stature. He says about that. And his approach to religion was also evolutionary. He thought that in all religions there are very good values. So he praised Ram also, he praised Guru Nanak ji also, and Krishna ji also, and he praised Bhartrihari. And then he also took some, insights from Marx and from Nietzsche and some other philosophers of the West and East, and from poets as well. So in this way, his approach was universal and global. And as you rightly said, as Professor Rao has rightly said, that he was just trying to accommodate the whole human family into his thought and make them to feel that they are brothers and they are sisters, and they have a purpose in this world to live with dignity and respect each other, help each other. And then he was not happy with the Western approach to different communities or nations. And he said that they are Mashriq Maghrib ke rehne walo, Khuda ki basti duka nahi hai. And the Western people have taken Eastern nations as commodities. And he said that you don't know. The humans who have been created by God, these are not the commodities, they are not the commercial items. They have a soul, they have conscience, so you should treat them equally. And then he was not happy with the Western philosophies which were bifurcating humans because of this nation or that nation. And he says that havasne kar diya tugde tugde nawa insan ko, that this lust for power and greed for aggrandizement has just torn humans into pieces, and that has created a problem. So we need to become the language of love. मोहब्बत की ज़बान हो जा. We need to be the language of love, and our speech should take people closer to each other, and our speech should not hurt any person in this world, because every person has a respect. But he was not happy with the man-made philosophies of the West, which had created a lot of conflicts in the history, and these were creating also conflicts during IQBAL'S period. So he was opposite to all those philosophies which were just making differences between the humans and humans, and nations and communities because of this reason or that reason. And he used to say that फिरका बंदी है कहीं और कहीं जाते हैं, क्या ज़माने में पनपने की ही बातें हैं. There are factions, there are sectarian divisions here and there are castes and creeds. These are not the ways to prosper in this life, to think in these terms. So how a great message he was giving to the whole humanity, that we don't need to think as a creed, caste, color, or a particular race. We need to transcend these limitations and become a good human being, and then accommodate all ethnicities, all nations, all denominations, and consider humans also as the creatures of God, and respect them equally as we should be respected. So this was his message, which was encapsulated in his concept of khudi and self-realization, as has been also mentioned by Professor Das and Romavaniji, and also Professor Raoji. Thank you very much.
Dr. Rao?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dr. Das. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Only one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We can summarize the philosophy. Only one sentence. The most exclusive self, exclusive. That is the ignorant state. That is the crude. Most exclusive self becomes the all-inclusive self through self-realization. This is the passage. This is the goal of life, and this is a human possibility. We start our existence with an exclusive self. Exclusively, I am I. I have my personal identity. But what is the possibility? That exclusive self, khudi is that all-inclusive. That I shall become inclusive, more inclusive. I shall include community. I shall include the nature, and I shall become the ultimate self when I shall become all-inclusive. When I shall become all-inclusive, there is no diversity, there is no caste, no religion. It is the transcending state. This is the great message of equal. And man should be active. Man should help himself. Man should make his own destiny. Man has to reach that state. Man should not be a stupid fellow. Man should not be a follower. Man should be very much rational, very much active. He should have self-realization to achieve that state. That is the ultimate destiny of a man. That to be the ultimate self, all-inclusive self. This is the great message of I really salute Professor Maharaji, that the way he explained the entire thing. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm humbled.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maraji, Dr. Das. Okay, that's why I think it is only in man there is a possibility of transformation. That's why maybe Dr. Iqbal gave importance and primacy to man, man as man, and the idea of khudi that he brought in for making man realize the real purpose for which he has come to this world. He has come not to just for merrymaking and enjoyment. He has come to this world to be happy and in and through the happiness around. And that is possible only through self realization in and through the world, and to be finally connected with that ultimate, which is the source, and to which we are again going to move. And when we move to that ultimate source, it is the idea of khudi, the concept of khudi, with a sort of self realization that can bring a total liberation from this earthly life, because you are nowhere disconnected. So, in this process of transformation, you got connected with the cosmos. So, nothing to come back again to this world. So, maybe that's the idea wherein you live in this world with connectivity to everything to finally elevate to that source which is the real purpose. And in this journey, you are, as Dr. Iqbal, Dr. Maraji has pointed out, in this journey, you have nothing to blame, you have nothing to hurt, you are there here to be in connectivity, in oneness with every part and partial of this creation. So that's how we can take Dr. Iqbal's philosophy. Thank you so much, Dr. Das, Dr. Maraji. Well, I see Dr. Kumar from the beginning. Let us move to Dr. Kumar for his words of wisdom, his suggestions, his ideas on Dr. Iqbal. Dr. Kumar, please, if you are interested to say something, please, sir. I will wait for half a minute. Dr. Kumar, wish to say something, sir. Well, I don't see Dr. Kumar. Well, he will be back. Well, in the meantime, Dr. Maharana wanted to say something. Let us move to Dr. Kailash Maharana, sir, for his views and suggestions. Dr. Maharana, please.
Okay. Okay. Thanks so much. Okay, Dr. Rao. I was listening to the the responses made by Professor Amit sir and Professor Pramod Kumar Das sir. So when Dr. Rao was making a beautiful statement that man must realize the real purpose of life that he has come for, that and it is the essence of it is the real significance, and it is the state of self realization or transformation that Professor Dr. Equal that it has made the concept of khudi. The concept of khudi is very clearly understood now, and Professor Das and Mr. Maharaji said has both have made it very clear that it is most that it all inclusive, and that okay, Dr. Das had also told me. So, in the philosophy of equal, I can see an equation of both the existential philosophy and the Vedanta philosophy. And we can see the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita in it. I can see also an impression of the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo in Equal's philosophy. And when Dr. Das had said the realm of faith, wisdom, and action. So it is a good statement that wisdom is reflected in faith, and 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 it is self-actualized in action. And Dr. Equal's concept of khudi is very clear. It is very clearly reflected or analyzed by Dr. Pramod Padas. And when when they all have reflected, they all have the concept of self. That is, I have a little observation that when Professor Das had said that equal has given importance to everything, he has not ignored anything, and there is self in man, and there is self in nature or matter. So here, Dr. Equal has given importance to matter and spirit because he has his khudi is reflected in man, is reflected in nature or matter. So so he has got so he has not ignored matter and nature, and he has made that. And Dr. Das has also made it very clear that matter can be evolved to spirit, human life can be evolved to spirit, and everything can be evolved to spirit. So every moment is a moment of transformation that Dr. Das has told. Every moment is a transformation. Every moment is a moment of transformation. So that is, everything can be transformed. The human being can be transformed. The matter can be transformed, and it is transformed to the higher self. It is a self-actualization. So the divinity is there in spirit. The divinity is there in matter or nature. The divinity is also there. That is the human. So it's a man's that is individual effort. It is a man's individual effort that can make him from the lower self to the higher self to realize the entire self. The that is it is a transformation from individual self to cosmic self, and from cosmic self to the universal self. So this way that I have understood equals philosophy from the views from the observation made by the learned the philosophers that Dr. Equal has not ignored everything. And Professor and Sri Aurobindo has also said that there is a transformation from matter to spirit, and that is ultimately it is that one has to realize the ultimate self or ultimate spirit or ultimate self. So there is an impression of the Vedantic philosophy, the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo and Bhagavad Gita, that is the philosophy of equal, or you can say it, that the concept of Khudi. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maharana, for relating the ideas and philosophy of Dr. Iqbal with the self transformation mechanism that we find in Sri Aurobindo. So thank you for this. And well, Roma Madam wants to say something.
No, just one thing touched me. खुदी को कर तू इतना बुलंद कि खुदा, he says, no, that we should, he has actually told us the heights that we can reach. As individuals, we can reach a height where God himself would say, before I write your destiny, come on, tell me what is your wish. That means the approval of God, for um, our action. Just a thought that I wanted to share. Thank you.
Dr. Rao,
Yes, thank you so much, Madam.
Dr.
So
Rao,
this yes, Dr. Das want to say something. Yes.
KC Patnaik sir pacharandi. KC Patnaik sir.
Yes. I'm moving to Dr. K.C. Patnaik, sir. But the lines that Roma Madam reminded, that the idea of Khudi, the transformation was such that God also came to a point to realize that this self is going to do no wrong. That's why whatever wish that comes from that soul he is not going in a wrong way. So God is also giving accreditation to what comes from the self,
Yeah,
because it
Subhanallah,
was elevated to
Subhanallah.
that height, because God also matches to that, and he's saying, yes, whatever comes from you, I have nothing to say, because your words will do no wrong to the community, because you have elevated to such a height, such a height. So maybe that's the idea, that's the philosophy. When one elevates to that standards, even God also comes down to take you, okay, not lightly, but all seriously. And he says, I am ready to say, yes, yes, go ahead. So that's maybe the idea. Well, thank you so much, Roma Madam, for reminding these words again. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Rao,
Yes, yes,
I shall relate one thing.
sir.
Equal is was giving importance on self-effort. Repeatedly, I have said self-effort to grow. Okay, and he has given a very beautiful example: seed and a tree. The seed does not know the possibility of the whole tree. The contribution of the whole tree is there in the seed. But the seed, what is the duty of a seed? Seed breaks the cell, seed breaks the ground, seed struggles to become a tree. Therefore, we say that it is a good seed. So similarly, we should make our similarly we should make our destiny by our self effort. We have to close our dogmatic slumber. We have to close our ignorance. We have to revive ourselves. We have to struggle hard to become, to have our better version. This is a very beautiful message that we have to struggle through the obstacles to, to have our better version. This message is there. Religion may be obstacle. Your society may be obstacle. Your government may be obstacle. Your ignorance may be the obstacle. But you have to struggle through all these obstacles to have to reach that stage. You have to become all inclusive, through your self effort. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Now
We'll
you
go to
Sir,
say.
sir,
we'll go to Roma
sir, sir, sir,
Vani
sir,
Madam, but
sir.
yes, ma'am. We have
Okay,
Jyoti
Dr. Das,
Patnaik sir
Dr.
also.
Das.
We have
Okay,
Jyoti
Dr.
Patnaik
Das.
sir. We'll go to him, listen to him, and then we come back to Roma Vani Madam and Kailash Mahana sir. KC Patnaik
Okay,
sir. Yes, KC Patnaik sir. Then Roma Vani Madam will come back to you, madam. Then Kailash Mahana sir. Yes. Sir Patnaik sir, please. Namaskar sir. Please, your words sir. Please.
Am I
Yes, sir.
audible?
Yes,
Am
sir.
I
Audible
audible?
sir. Audible sir.
Okay.
Audible sir. Audible sir.
Thank
Namaskar
you.
sir. Please, please.
It's a very enlightening talk by Dr. Das, as was told, and self-effort he has emphasized. I would say that the man is the crown of all creation, and man has the capacity to evolve himself to absolute perfection. When he reaches the absolute perfection, he will find oneness in everybody, everywhere. So there is no discrimination, he cannot find any distinction. He will find oneness everywhere. That is what Gita says also. And then when you say oneness everything, then you feel there is no difference. And you feel that you are with everybody. So that is the universal truth. And that is when Swamiji addressed, Swami Chinmay addressed in a church about Christianity. He spoke for about 5 minutes, I mean for about half an hour. And people listened with rapt attention. He told, I have been telling now about Christianity you thought, but I was talking about Gita. But you listen because you find whatever has Bible told, it is already in Gita. And now what I am going to say is something extra. This is not in Bible, but in Gita. So Gita doesn't contradict any other religion. Gita has everything, plus something more. So if you find oneness, reaching the highest evolution, absolute perfection, you will not find any difference. You find everything is one. The creation is one. That is what I would not try to elaborate. I am not such an enlightened person, but I agree with Dr. Das about emphasizing self-effort. It is very important to evolve himself to the highest level, and that is why I said that man is the product of the past and the producer of the future. He can reach the highest in his present life. Thank you, and it is very nice.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. The beautiful point that you communicated is in self perfection, there cannot be any sense of diversity. There is, even though there is diversity, the self realized man will see only unity. There is no diversity at all. So, this is the beautiful point that you communicated. Thank you so much, sir. Well, we move to Roma Vani madam, then to Dr. Maharana. Roma Vani madam, please.
Actually, when Dr. Dash was talking about the seed, from imitation of Christ, what came to mind was that uh, the roots, the flesh will, it says, in a tree, the roots are the flesh. So the flesh will pull us down, but the spirit should always rise. And therefore, the tree should rise higher and higher and higher. So that just came to mind. This is one of the prayers that we offer in the imitation of Christ, saying that even if the flesh pulls me down, let my spirit soar up to you. As in a tree, the roots are pulling the tree down, but still the branches and the bark, they aspire to go higher and higher and higher. So I think if we relate that to the human being, it's the same. Like, we can come to the lotus feet of the Lord, like Sudama came to Krishna, and yet Krishna was the one who was serving him. So these are things. Or when in the Guru Granth Sahib you say the Guru and the Lord are both standing before you, who would you bow to? No, I will not bow to God. I would rather bow to the person who's showing me the way to my God, the Guru. So I'm sorry, but the thoughts keep coming, and then would like to express it to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your for ideas and the thoughts that came to you. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you. Well, let's move to Dr. Mahana, and then I'll come back to what the Roma Vani madam and said, and Dr. Das has said. Dr. Mahana.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, I was listening to the observation of uh, Professor Umawan, and Professor Umawan was speaking that there is a personal effort in human being that can make him to a greater height of self-realization. Umawan madam was also telling that there is also a conscious effort in seed that makes it to a tree to be unfolded or to express itself into a greater height into a tree. Thanks so much. And Professor C. Arvindo has also told that. So without personal effort, man cannot grow. A man cannot make himself actualized, or it is not possible in that is it is not possible in or the transformation is difficult. But there is also a transformation. Transformation will go in its own nature. But what I want to ask Professor uh, Das, that Professor Das has an understanding of equals philosophy. So, without personal effort, can human destiny make a human being self to realize the self perfection or realize hello without without personal effort? Can human destiny itself can make human being perfect to a state of perfection, Professor Das, without self effort?
Yes, I shall answer your question.
Okay, I want to say whether equal has said anything with that is without self effort. So what is the fate of a human being?
Without self effort, you are no more.
yes, yes.
You don't have any existence. You don't have any identity. I am giving some examples here on the screen. On this meeting, I see Roma Mani Madam, I see K.C. Patnaik sir, I see Hamidullah Maraji sir. You look at their age. Every day, K.C. Patnaik sir gives message to me. I fail to read. I fail to read. I read in the in regular intervals, but regularly I cannot read. But he is the man who all. So this is self-effort that you should remain connected with the evolution process. And you see the age of Roma Mani Madam and Hamdullah Maharaji, they organized such a beautiful seminar in University of Kashmir, and how they speak, how they view about life, what is their philosophy, how they are energetic. Look at them, and you also look at the youth of today. They are taking drugs. They are very much inactive. So that is the point. We have a life of 60 years, 70 years, maximum 100 years. So how we live our life? Okay, so this is the time bound, and this is the human possibility also. We can have our better version. We see the examples here in this meeting. So, and we see the examples around us, how people are active and how people are also inactive. Okay, so without self-effort, you are no more. I am giving an example from Bhagavad Gita. If Lord Krishna could wish that he could fight and he could end the episode, but he made Arjuna to have his own self-effort. He taught 18 adhyayas, the chapters, and he made him a karma yogi. He made him a jnana yogi. He made him a bhakti yogi, and he himself became ready to fight. This is self-effort. The ignorant Arjuna in the chapter Visada Yoga became a great, he agreed to fight. So we have to make our students, we have to make our children, we have to make ourselves, we have to build our nation. So that building attitude should be in our personality. I shall do something. Okay. So by that way you can observe how a small child can perform very well on the stage, how a man from a small college can go and address in an university, how many great things can be done by very small people, laymen. Okay, so that is through your consistent effort, and that is very natural in human being. But we should open the door. We should be like an Arjuna. We should be a student like Arjuna, and we should be a teacher like Lord Krishna. We should have that self-effort. So Lord Krishna also exerted his self-effort to teach Arjuna. Took such pain, long time pain to teach Arjuna. Arjuna was asking questions after questions, but Lord Krishna was very much patient. He was a very good teacher. That is also self-effort of a teacher. Self-effort of a teacher to teach consistently. Self-effort of a student to learn consistently. So that is also parenting. Parents should not be disheartened that I am tired of. We are tired of. No, don't feel tired in life. Grow, 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 and grow. That is said by Vivekananda. Stop and arise and awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. What is that goal? The goal is that the lower self will become the higher self. The exclusive self will become the all-inclusive self. That is the goal of life. And stop not. Stop not. Arise and awake. Arise and awake. Every moment is a moment of transformation. And mysticism, from the standpoint of a mysticism, I shall tell you, you can't imagine the glory of tomorrow. You are so disappointed. You means example, not you, not you. You are so disheartened today. You are going to commit suicide, but you do not know tomorrow is so dignified for you. A very glorified tomorrow is waiting for you. That is mysticism. That is the divine visualization, and that is the self effort through your hidden effort. Even you do not know how much efforts you have exerted in your past lives. That efforts are also pending in you. That will give you results in your present life. So without effort, a student is not a student, a teacher is not a teacher, parents are not parents. Okay, we lose our man loses his manhood without self-effort. Arise and awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Thank you, thank you, thank
But
you.
right. But one thing that it is all about the human being. But first about the self of nature.
We should have that understanding that in nature also you are not going to make rain. You are not going to change the season. There is rhythm, there is an cosmic order that is not done by human beings. So there is also a constant effort in nature to have a cosmic order. Otherwise we can't survive. So in cosmos also we find a discipline. That discipline we have to understand. We should not take it very scientifically. This is the cause, this is the effect, because of this cyclone took place. No, there is a systematic order in nature. Because of that, seasons are changing. Because of that, days and nights are happening. So there is an order, cosmic order, and that is self in nature. Similarly,
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, thanks so much.
it is also said in Upanishad. Thank you. It is also said in Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Das, Dr. Maharana. Well, from the question of Dr. Maharana and the response thereof, the thing that comes to my mind is what Dr. Maharana wanted to actually point out is what exactly is the technique of self-perfection, of self-realization in Iqbal's philosophy. What is the technique? Is there a desire for self-realization? If that is the desire, then that becomes a wrong. Okay.
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita, because if there is a desire for self-perfection, because you are wrongly headed, because the desire is going not to bring you to that destiny. When you talk of Bhagavad Gita, there is a technique of Nishkama Karma, wherein you are perfecting yourself every moment and you have a pratyara to everything. You are sacrificing, there is a sense of desirelessness. So you have the goal and you go on with your ashrama and varana and carry on your righteous duty. And that is the technique that has been practiced and praised in the Bhagavad Gita. Also, that is the technique for self-perfection in the Gita. So, what is the technique that Dr. Iqbal adopts in achieving this self-perfection? Please,
Yes,
Doctor.
yes, very, very nice. The equals technique is to know your limitation and to confront the obstacles. That means self-control and self-consciousness. You control yourself when it is misguiding you, when it is making you attached with the samsara, when it is disturbing your flow of progress. You have to check it. You have to control yourself, and the obstacles that you confront, you have to struggle to pass out, but to face it. That is the point, and that can be done through your self consciousness. This is the technique. Then comes niskama karma. When you have self actualization, when you have controlled yourself, when you have realized yourself, then you will define your karma. How I shall do. Action comes in the latter stage, I have told. First, you have to rectify your faith. Then you shall have wisdom. Then you will do karma. Karma in Bhagavad Gita also, karma yoga comes after Sankhya yoga. In Sankhya yoga, we are taught about jnana. We have to understand what is phenomena, what is noumena, what is reality, what is appearance, what is bondage, what is attachment, what is liberation, what is self, what is not self. All these are discussed in Sankhya yoga. in the second chapter. Then comes Karma Yoga. So Karma is the final perfection. That comes later. First you have to groom yourself. Iqbal says that as a layman, I find many obstacles. The society is the obstacle, the religion is the obstacle, the other man, the community itself is the obstacles. The dogmatic faiths are up, the people are obstacles. As the seed breaks the cell, similarly, I should respect my khudi. I should face the obstacles. Even parents are obstacles. Even if father is drunkard and the mother is characterless, we have to go against them. We have to achieve the goal. We, okay. So if there is any obstacle which obstructs my way to excel, what happened in Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna was not wrong. Arjuna was simply saying that I shall not fight against my brothers. I don't need kingdom. But Lord Krishna was saying that it is not, your fighting is not meant for that. Fighting is meant to establish dharma. You have to understand these dynamics. It is not the fight against your brothers. Whoever he may be, you have to fight because they are in the side of adharma. So when we are doing karma, before that, we should have a better understanding about myself, about samsara, about bondage. Otherwise, what for karma? Karma is the final state of our perfection, which translates our wisdom and our faith. So the technique in IQBAL'S philosophy is self-control and self-consciousness. So as Descartes said, the first friend of myself is myself. I know myself. I exist. My consciousness is the priority. My existence is the priority. So I find myself only. Then comes others. And when I find myself, the dead enemies are my sense organs. The dead enemy is my desires, unnecessary desires. The dead enemy is my attachment. So many obstacles are there. So I have to struggle through. There is a very beautiful saying in Kashmir University that if you are a victim, don't remain silent. If you are a victim, don't remain silent. That means if you are a victim of anything, of your community, of your religion, of your society, of anything else, even of your parents, don't remain silent. That means you have to transform, and transformation is always personal. Nobody can make you transform. You have to transform yourself. The seed itself will grow to the tree. The side seeds or the neighbor seeds can't help the seed to grow. The seed itself will grow. Similarly, every man has his inner capacity to grow himself as the complete being. Okay, therefore there are many people. Therefore there is difference between the psyche of human beings. You are this, I am this. He is that, he is that. Why there is difference? Because of the lack of self-effort to become the highest. This is the point. So technique is there. In Bhagavad Gita, technique is there. In Bhagavad Gita, the technique started from Visada Yoga. That why you are disappointed, what is your suffering, then knowledge, then action. Okay, so everything has its own technique. Equal is giving importance upon that you know your khudi. Khudi means there is something in you that makes you grow. Very simple. There is something in you that makes you grow, that makes you aware, that makes you feel. Very simple. Out of that, karma comes, jnana comes, bhakti comes. Jnana, karma, bhakti comes from your khudi, from yourself. You first realize that what you are. Yes, naturally, you are in a very immature state. We are very ignorant state, very imperfect state. Then gradually you have to become all inclusive. you will understand, yes, there is also a controlling unity in nature. Something is there that controls the entire nature. It is teleological by nature. Similarly, there is something, a mastermind, which control, that is called Allah, or in our philosophy, Brahman. That is the whole control the mastermind of the entire evolution. In Bhagavad Gita, that is the Vishwarupa Darshana. A Vishwarupa Darshana was a new thing for Arjuna, but Vishwarupa Darshana is not new for Lord Krishna, because Vishwarupa Darshana is the complete canvas which is known to Lord Krishna. So that is the ultimate consciousness, the total reality. But we are living in the partial reality, and we are marching towards that complete reality by struggling with our obstacles. So Equal is a very pragmatic philosopher, very social oriented philosopher. He knows the obstacles. Our ignorance is the obstacle, our education is the obstacle, our social custom is the obstacle, our neighbor, the relationship is the obstacle. We have to, if we want to revive, if we want to reach at the, to be perfect, then we have to struggle hard. Those who do not struggle, those who do compromise, many people, 90% people live their life by compromising life. 90%. 90% of people live very comfortable life, compromising life. That is not this message of Equal. Every person has the capacity to be divine. So arise and awake and stop not till the goal is reached. This is a very motivating philosophy, motivational philosophy of Muhammad Iqbal. So technique is there. Without technique, we cannot. And that technique is the self-effort. Self-effort itself is the technique. First, you should have that. You desire to be good. That is the technique. At least you have a desire to be good. Sadicha. You have a saticha. You have a desire to be the best. That desiring is also a technique. You should have. So Equal is inspiring to know your khudi, and that khudi is not a small thing. That khudi is manifested in nature, and that khudi is khuda itself. That khudi is khuda. That means the Allah. That is the supreme consciousness. This is the understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Das. Very nicely said.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Just I was now. Yeah, I'm listening. I listened to whatever you said about direct attention. So I was thinking that we need to explore Iqbal's thought more and more now. If you will just, I can just deliver 2 or 3 lectures on Iqbal, especially his selfhood and his religious experience. And then we can, as you have started this discussion, so we can just continue with discussion, and it can be more elaborated. And no, I'm very happy that you have started this series, and this can be a very good omen for inclusive philosophy, and we can attract more and more students of philosophy from Kashmir and other parts to this program of yours, mashallah, which is very nice. So I was very much tempted by your very encouraging talk that we need to explore Iqbal's thought and make it a comparative study, as you did with the Gita and other Indian philosophy, philosophical thoughts and religious thoughts. So that can be a very good comparison, because Iqbal was rooted in this Indian ethos, and he believed that he himself belonged to Orient. He says that the Orient should rise and they should just now give the message to the West, because West has lost guidance and the direction. So further, we need to tell them many things which they do know now, and there is a message in. And then he can be compared with Aurobindo Ghosh, and there have been some dissertations and theses have been written on the subject in Aligarh Muslim University. I have seen it. So we have a lot of things there to compare with Iqbal, and in this way, through this comparison, we can come to a better communication level, and to in order to understand these great scholars who have much to contribute to our understanding for a global perspective about various issues which we are confronted with in our life. Thank you very much. It was really a very good
Thank you.
talk and a very good beginning of a, I think so that there can be a series of lectures on the subject, and I can also deliver, 2 or 3 talks on this subject if you allow me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir. Okay, Doctor. Okay, Doctor Das. You have said that all transformation is personal. But man cannot achieve all kinds of transformation through his personal effort. That is unless and until the divine will so. If we believe in divinity, then we can believe that there is that you have also said it that that something is there, and that something may be the divine power. What is that?
Yes. That Khudi is that. Khudi is the divine power in you. Khudi is the divine power in you, the divine energy in you. No,
Okay. Thank you.
you are right. You are right. That Khudi is the divine power.
Yes.
That's something divine. That's something higher. By utilizing that, by your self-effort, you will become that. You have, but you have not. You have not become. You have money, but you don't know how to spend. You are a miserly person. So you have plenty, but you don't know how to do charity. That is the point. You have that, but you don't use that. And using that is only a human possibility. A dog cannot use that. A dog has also that divine energy, but a dog cannot use it because he is not so conscious. The psyche of dog is not so developed. So it is a slow. It is a message of equal. If God has given you the possibility of understanding, the possibility of self-realization, don't misutilize it. For that, you can go to even struggle through your obstacles. Okay, don't become a passive witness that let be done what is done. No, you have to go through. You have to be a fighter. You have to be a man of evolution so that you can evolve. Otherwise not. And God will help them, as the beautiful saying is that God will help them. And also in Hinduism also we believe if we forward one step towards God, God gives two steps towards us. That means God also witnesses our self-effort, whether we are helping, whether we are helping ourselves or not. If we do not have that attitude, then we are dead. We are not alive. We are sick personality. We are not divine personality. And we are living in a sick society also. In a society, if intellectuals will remain silent, they will not never raise their voice against corruption, as we see in our present society. 90% intellectuals are silent only. They can see only the TV news, read newspaper. They will have no objection. This is not equals message. He is inspiring us to grow by your self-effort. Raise your voice, face the obstacles. Then only the seed will be broken and the seed will become the plant. Otherwise not. If you keep the seed in the AC room, in your refrigerator, that will not become the tree. The seed will struggle through the obstacles and it will become a big plant, big tree. Okay, so this is the possibility of a human being. We can't teach a dog to be so that. Thank you. So now we shall go for vote of thanks. It is time.
Yes.
Almost nine.
Thank you, Dr. Das, for your ideas. But the technique is very much clearly said by you, that self-control and moving through the adversaries. I correct a bit, without aggression, without panic, but with a sense of love. The quotation that you talked about, when there is a problem, raise your voice. If you're a victim, raise your voice. Here, if we connect Iqbal's philosophy, he's not talking about aggression. He's talking about the love and connectivity through love, I think, because any idea of aggression will bring down the self-control. So if we are honest to Iqbal's philosophy, so the message, if you are a victim, raise your voice. It doesn't bring in a sort of aggression. It talks about an idea of love, an idea of connectivity, an idea of mesmerizing the other through the ideals of love and not through aggression. Because any idea of aggression will break down the self-control.
No,
So
no,
if
no,
you are
Doctor, no, 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 that is not the message. Khudi itself, Khudi means also self-love.
no, no, no,
Khudi
no, no,
means
no.
self-love.
The idea that I'm trying to bring in
Aggression
is
comes when there is an encounter between you and others. I am not telling that. You are alone. You are alone. Your existence is the priority. You are the priority. You forget others. Your neighbor is not there. Your religion is not there. Nobody else, even not your parents, not your wife, not your child. You start your existence with yourself. Then who are with you? Your sense organs are with you. Your mind is with you. Your feelings is with you. Your love is with you. Okay, if your sense organs obstacle you, they are obstructing your way, fight against them. That is not aggression, that is through love. Through love only you can conquer the world, not through violence. So that is not aggression, but you have to be strong. You have to be strong, otherwise you can't control yourself. Self controlling is not a cup of tea of a weak person. That is a cup of tea of a strong person. You have a strong mentality, strong willpower, that yes, I shall fight against the obstacles, and I shall make myself a perfect person. Then your wife will come, your child will come, your neighbor will come, society will come. First you become a better person. You become a man, manurbhava, you become a man. Then you can become a good father, you can become a good husband, you can become a good son, good neighbor, and you can become a good member of your community, and you can ultimately will become the divine. This very simple process. So self control is the technique of Iqbal, and that is also taught in Patanjali Yoga. That is also taught in Sri Aurobindo's philosophy. That is also taught in all systems of Indian philosophy. That is taught in the Bhagavad Gita. So self-control and self-consciousness, these two techniques are adopted by Iqbal. So the unique point is he gives importance to man and his existence, his capacity, his possibility to exercise self-report. This is the great thing, that you can have your self-report. You are so blessed that you can have your self-report. A dog cannot. Even a dog desires. Dog cannot exercise its self-report. But if man desires, man can exercise his self-report. And who are the dead enemies? Myself, my sense organs, my thoughts, my dogmatic thoughts, my bad feelings, my community. These, if they are misunderstood, mistaken by me, then they are the obstacles for me. Through that I never grow. So if I want to grow, I have to be a neutral personality. I should believe in my khudi. Yes, I can. Even khudi means self-confidence. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. This message. This message. This is a slogan to youth also. The youth should behave like youth, not like old men. You can. You can. You grow. You grow. This is the slogan. Okay, so this is not a passive philosophy that you try, if not possible, sleep. No, you have to try, you have to become, you have to have your better version. This is Dr. Iqbal.
yes. Understand. I understand self transformation, that is vital, and the process of self realization, self actualization is through the self control and passing through the adversities without hate, without aggression, but with a sense of love. This is the point that I was to make. That is the point. I'm not talking about other things. I'm just saying if you are true to the philosophy of Iqbal, if you are a victim, raise your voice doesn't anyway imply aggression because that is the message. It is through love you have to get rid of that adversities. That is the point that I wish to raise. Fighting is not through the violence. It is
Sir, without
through the
love and
idea of
compassion,
love.
without love and compassion, you will you will go halfway. You cannot reach the destiny. So
That is the point I wish to
aggression
make.
will ride you
The
to some
second point,
extent.
listen, Mr. Second point I wish to say is when you are talking about Iqbal, the very idea of desire should be omitted because there is, like in Bhagavad Gita, even in Iqbal's philosophy, when you are talking the desire of self perfection, that would be a misnomer because the self effort itself and that will bring in self perfection and that will in self control, as you say, and that will get rid of the adversities without any sort of desire in you because if there is a desire there will be aggression
Yes, yes.
and that is through it there will be a sense of love and that will be what Dr. Iqbal is propagating. If
Okay,
we say
thank you.
if you are a victim raise your voice, that is the voice of love.
Yes, yes,
It is only then there can be a self-control and we can be what truly following Iqbal's philosophy.
yes,
So
yes,
this is what I could get. Well, Roma
yes,
madam
yes,
and
yes.
Dr. Maraji will correct me.
Yes, sir. We shall conclude here now and give a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor Maharaji and Madam,
Yes,
who
yes, yes.
contributed a lot in
Yes,
this, and also
I,
Kesi
I,
Patnaik, sir.
I thank Dr. Das and also I thank Marathi and Roma Madam. But
Thank
before
you,
that,
thank
I
you.
give Dr. Maharana to this honor of thanking everybody and also the speaker and raising so beautiful questions even the platform. Dr. Maharana.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Ram.
Thank you.
So today, what I feel that the interactive part, interactive session has been more excellent than the presentation part, and the response made by Professor Pramod Kumar Das is also very excellent than his presentation. So today, what I feel, and today I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor Maharaj sir for his for his connectivity with us and the
Thank you,
way
sir.
he summarized he summarized the entire philosophy of Muhammad Iqbal in a very shortcut way and in very simple way that has amazed us. So on behalf of philosophy family, I would like to extend our hearty gratitude to Professor Maraji and to Professor
Thank you, sir.
Rumawani madam. Uh, okay, thank you, sir. And Professor Umawani's voice is always appealing, and her presence always inspires us to be engaged in more and more philosophical activities. So, her presence with us is a blessing for all of us. Thanks so much. And now, I would like to extend my gratitude to Professor K.C. Patnaik, sir, and uh, others and other participants like Staboni Madam and others to be with us and the way all the all the participants like Professor Rao that the way they contributed their observation and Puri that it has amazed all of us. And today, what I say in that is in one line. So today the interactive session is very alive, very reflective. Okay, thanks so much to Dr. Pramod Kumar Das, the speaker of today's webinar, and Dr. K. Omanar Rao, the moderator of this webinar, and all the participants, those who are present now. I extend my gratitude to all of you for making this evening very beautiful and memorable. Thanks so much. Now over to Dr. Das.
Thank you, sir.